Jack Dorsey. Everybody knows him. If you don't, he is the co-founder of Twitter. Yes, now formerly Twitter, now known as X. Shout out to Elon Musk. Jack Dorsey with Block, everything he's doing with the miners that he just put out. This guy is all in on Bitcoin, so much so that people think that he's Satoshi. We're going to play this clip of Jack Dorsey saying we don't need banks anymore. We're going to be replacing MasterCard, Visa. And then we're going to take a look at this conspiracy theory about Jack Dorsey being Satoshi. So let's just start here, guys. I'm going to play this clip of Jack Dorsey speaking. It's around 2 minutes or so. So hang tight. Let's listen to this full thing. We'll make some comments on it, and then we'll look at some other things here. Let's get started.
All you have to do is look at the first page of the white paper, which I encourage everyone to do, which is it only sought out to solve one problem, which is verifying that there's no double spending. You're not spending twice without having to rely upon a third party. Like, it literally is just, how do we transmit money without having to rely on a Visa or MasterCard or a bank to tell us that this was not a double transaction? That was it. That was the innovation. And the title of the white paper is Electronic Peer-to-Peer Cash. Like, that was the dream. That was the intention. It was supposed to be a way to transmit money, protocol for the internet to transmit money anywhere without a Visa or MasterCard or a bank or any gatekeeper whatsoever. And it's become, and it's not like, I think the true Bitcoiner's dream is still that it's money, but it's become this like digital gold narrative, which I think is important because, like, if it's valuable, more people want to work on it. And you can think of Bitcoin like you would an equity or an asset, and if I make it better, then that asset goes up, and I can, convert it to whatever I need, or just, give it to merchants to pay for food for my family, anything I need to do until it's widely, dramatically accepted. But it all goes back to that core concept of, like, the internet needs a native currency. It needs an open protocol for money transmission. Otherwise, we're reliant upon a Visa, a MasterCard, a Stripe, a Square, all these companies, and you have to get permission from them to use them. And I just don't think that's fair for something as fundamental as money. And I also don't think it's fair for something fundamental as speech, which is where Nostra comes in.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what Jack Dorsey's saying. I'm going to go ahead and put something else back on the screen that we're going to take a look at here. All right. So, ladies and gents, this is Jack Dorsey now. Satoshi shirt on. Is he Satoshi? I don't know. But I will say this. You guys got to stop doing this. This is like the third time I've seen this. This is probably just for engagement at this point. That is obviously not Jack Dorsey, guys. Okay, it might look like him a little bit, but no. That is, what's his name? Christopher Columbus. Oh gosh, what's his name again? I'm doing this guy down. Peter Dinklage. Yes, that is Peter Dinklage. All right, that is not Jack Dorsey, guys. But let's just break this down a little bit more. So, Jack Dorsey is doubling down on Bitcoin's original mission. He just talked about this, all right? He stated before, he thinks Bitcoin needs to be more than just digital gold. It still needs to be used as a cash system, its original intent. So he says, the Block CEO says BTC should be more than digital gold. It should be everyday money, just as Satoshi intended. From merchant tools to Lightning integration, Dorsey's companies are building the infrastructure to make Bitcoin a true peer-to-peer payment system. He is, guys. And I want you to stick around in the future on this channel here because I'm going to be interviewing some Caspa members. All right, some big time Caspa guys in the Caspa community. Caspa obviously believes that they fulfilled Satoshi's original vision of being that peer-to-peer cash system, not a store of value. So if you don't know about Caspa, subscribe to the channel, follow us on X, and stay tuned for those episodes probably coming out in a couple weeks. So yeah, guys, I mean, Caspa to me has always been very interesting. They're faster than Solana. Their block, GoStag, not even a block, the GoStag protocol that is Caspa, that Jonathan created like a decade ago, basically. It's basically referenced in the Ethereum white paper. Kaspa is a very interesting protocol in my opinion. So stay tuned for those episodes. You're going to learn a lot. The Bitcoin versus Kaspa, debate and back and forth is a pretty heavy one. So we're going to go from there. But listen, guys, why do people think Jack Dorsey is actually Satoshi? He's wearing a Satoshi shirt. He does so much for Bitcoin. Let's break it down. So Jack Dorsey was born in 1976 in St. Louis. At 15, he wrote a dispatch software used by taxi companies for years. He dropped out of college, moved to California, and by 2006, he created Twitter. His first tweet was simple: just setting up my Twitter. Great. Since the early 2010s, Dorsey spoke of decentralization, admired cypherpunks like Adam Back. He wore RSA shirts in the 90s, long before Bitcoin existed. And when BTC appeared in 2009, he became one of its earliest high-profile believers. Yeah, when he built Square in 2009, it started as a simple card reader, but under his leadership, the company became Block and turned into one of Bitcoin's biggest corporate supporters. They integrated BTC into Cash App and funded open source developers. Yeah, let's keep it moving because there's a lot more that goes into this. Okay. Dorsey has said Bitcoin will unite a divided world. Okay, this isn't helping. Get to the juicy stuff, please. This is where the mystery starts. There we go. This is 2 days ago, by the way, guys. So this has been speculation for a little bit now. I see chains like this of people covering the Satoshi Jack Dorsey rumor. This isn't a bad one. So let's get to the juicy stuff. Alrighty. Let's get it. Okay, people noticed strange overlaps with Dorsey's life. The first Bitcoin transaction was on his mother's birthday, Satoshi's last block on his father's birthday, and the forum account was created on November 19th, Jack's own birthday. In 2014, a hacker of Satoshi's email claimed he was from St. Louis. That happened to be Dorsey's hometown. Earlier in 2009, Satoshi once slipped into an IRC channel without hiding his IP, which traced back to California. Dorsey was living and working in San Francisco at the time. Supporters of the theory add more. They say Dorsey wore Adam Back's RSA shirts in the 90s, that he traveled to Japan weeks before Bitcoin.org was registered, and that he wrote in 2001 about leaving a mark on the world without leaving a trace. AKA, that's exactly what Satoshi did. No one knows who he is. Or is it Jack? Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so Jack's always denied it. In 2020, in an interview with Lex Friedman, he smiled and said, "No, if I was, would I tell you? And if I was." So basically saying, no, I'm not, but bitch, maybe I am. And if I was, I'm not telling you. So most experts dismiss the theory as coincidence. This wasn't even a good one. There's way more that goes into this, I feel like. People also speculate Elon Musk for certain reasons because of the way that he signs his emails. There's many different things. The Jack Dorsey one, I don't know if I believe it. I think it's probably a group of cypherpunks, back in the day. Nick Szabo, Adam Back, Hal Finney, maybe a group of a couple guys. But the whole narrative here is very interesting to me because everybody really wants to know who Satoshi is. And I can guarantee you it's not Peter Dinklage. Okay? These X accounts got to be doing this for clicks at this point. But chat, let me know what you think about Jack Dorsey and what his speculation is in regards to Bitcoin taking over Visa, MasterCard, and the TradFi banking system. If you think that's legit, that's going to happen, let me know in the comments. Going to be interesting to see how things play out. Obviously, there are better forms of digital cash systems that rival Bitcoin and that, make people think, and say that Bitcoin's old, slow, and it's useless, etc. So let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Stay tuned for more live streams. We'll be back here again shortly. Once again, this is the Coin Zone. I'm Crypto with Paul. See you guys soon.